HD PC to actually play that one. You feeling any better? So, Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts.
I like it. I liked it the first time I watched it. Actually, did I like it the first time I watched it?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
The first time we watched it, I didn't actually love it that much.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, yeah, Donna Noble, I'm not so sure. I think the thing is that the contrast between her and Rose is quite huge. Obviously, she comes just off the back of Rose leaving. And that's a big kind of change in personality. And that kind of shift to where she just suddenly appears in the TARDIS is quite a...
It does, yes. Well, the Doctor's basically going to stand there, not in this episode, but the episode before, he's literally just had the heart broken, disappeared, Oh, if only time I get to say it. Then Rose, Tyler, and then he turns around and what?
And he's gone. But then when we watched not the next series, the one after, when Donna Noble was yes, I know. When Donna Noble was the companion, she's pretty much my favourite companion.
She is.
Between her and Rose. I think actually her now. And she's funny, and it was just lovely to see an episode with her in it again.
Can I give you a second just to move some
sound?
Yeah, I agree. I had exactly the same reaction when the first time I saw the Runaway Bride. I think I liked the plot line aspect of it, but I didn't like Donna at all. I felt that she was shouty and that she was mouthy and that she was, kind of irritating, really. And then when I heard that she was going to be the fourth, fourth series companion, I didn't like it at all. But then, just like you, I watched the fourth series, loved it, and now going back, I really like her as the companion in this one. So I think it's just that she's like, I think. No, I think of her right. She was very different to Rose, and she was a shock.
Yeah. But once you get used to her.
Yeah, once you get used to it. A bit like Addie's streams. Once you get used to the disorganisations and the random shouting and the invasions, then...
Oh, this is not an invasion.
She's the best invasion of all time. So Donna is an acquired taste. But it was interesting you mentioned that it's immediately after Rose, because the whole episode is clearly written in the shadow of Rose. There's flashbacks of her at various points.
Yeah.
Donna asks about her, and I think the last line of the whole thing is her name was Rose. So it's part of it's part of the mourning process of Rose for the viewer and Tennant. Because I reckon when Rose was hugely popular. I know she seems to be less popular now. Like I was talking to you guys so much in the channel. I know some of you really like her and some of you really don't like her. But I think the program makers must have been very much, what do we do post Rose? How are we going to make this work? And I think part of that was having, allowing the viewer to mourn along with the Doctor. Not just forgetting that she was there.
In the UK, at least, I've got no idea what it's like in other places in the world. But Catherine Tate is a name.
She is.
Billie Piper was a name.
Yes.
But
because she wants to.
Because you want to. Why do you play that song so loud?
Because I want to. Because I want to.
But most of the other, am I right? Most of the other companions haven't been kind of household names.
A little bit here and there.
Agma Freeman.
Yeah, no.
Never heard of her.
Amy wasn't. And the current one is a little bit more, because I think she was in Emmerdale or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right, she was. But also putting that kind of big comedy name on there as well. In terms of the story, I typically, for me with Doctor Who, I really, really like the build-up.
Yeah.
And then when they see the enemy, I'm a bit more like, meh.
Yeah, big spiders and stuff. But there was a lot of good little points in that one. There's references back. There was the Santa Clauses with tubers and rockets again, which also they did the year before, but it's like a little bit of a nodding wink to we've seen these before.
Yeah.
And the Doctor has the same reaction. There was the the beginning of it is actually very, very fast paced. That scene with Doctor and Donna running around, looking for cash machines. The bit where she walks outside of the TARDIS, realizes that it's bigger than things. And for once, he's not even paying attention. He's busy doing stuff, and she's kind of walking out and going, I can't handle this. And there's a lot of pace in that, a lot of pace and a lot of comedy, which works nicely. Lab said the comedy duo of Tate and Tennant is unmatchable. They are very, very good.
They are good. And I like the fact that she's really not a love interest. I know we're supposed to be reviewing the episode and I'm reviewing Donna, but I like
but she's a big part of it. It's her episode, really.
I like the fact that she's not a love interest to the Doctor, because Rose was a love interest to him. And then Martha's kind of legacy was the fact that he didn't fancy her, which is funny. And I like the fact that you've kind of got Donna in the middle of that, he's just a bit like, "Who are you, spaceman?" Completely not interested.
Well, they slightly watching it today because the whole thing about Donna and Doctor, they mentioned it several times in their series. Was that they weren't interested with each other, and even kind of went at various points. But that it was almost like in that episode they slightly implied that there could be.
I think they played with it with this episode, didn't they?
Obviously she's running around wearing a lovely wedding dress. She's got her her boobies are very much kind of
Oh, are they? Are they? I didn't notice. Well, you noticed that, did you?
I didn't say not the Doctor may have done, and there were also kind of a few scenes where they kind of looked, they looked at each other a little bit too long and things like that. A little smile here and there, but at the end there was that line from her where she's like, "Well, I'm scared of you," and that's not attractive. So they kind of closed that one down.
Yes, it's true.
So they set definitely kind of. Stopped.
And what did you think of the enemy?
Again, I think there was lots of lovely ideas there. The what's his name? Someone was talking about it earlier about how much they hated it. Was it Larry, the fiance? That was nasty.
That was nasty. Now, I'm never sure with things like that.
Izzy thinks he was nasty too. Nasty Larry, betraying Donna. And that speech he gave, that speech when he was like probably verbally destroying her.
He was nasty during that, wasn't he? He was like, "Do you need me to have a..."
If you can't hear the review,
you can look at my beautiful daughter instead. Yeah, because he was like properly hammering it in. For those of you who haven't watched it recently, it's the bit where he...
Lance, not Larry, thank you, Tony.
It's the bit where Donna says, "But I love you."
Yeah.
And Lance, instead of just kind of going, "Yeah, well, I don't love you," and then, that's it, it's over, he like goes into quite specific detail all the reasons why she's not good enough and she doesn't... And you can just see her getting absolutely crushed.
And she is, despite, I don't know what it's like in America, but in Britain, we have a little bit of a... there's the serious actors and then there's the comedy actors, the ones that do comedy sketch shows and things like that. And I don't know, but Donna in the whole of series 4 and in that episode, there are moments with her acting that break her heart. And that was one of them. She's being all mouthy. She's being like, all right. Even going down the lift at that point, she was controlling him, saying, "Get in the lift." And at that moment, you see her just going to go...
You just want to go and give her a great big hug.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Lance was not a nasty piece of work.
And we both commented on the fact that there are some quite kind of dark moments in that. I mean, we tend to think of this, let's say the current series, but the series that's just finished, Peter Capaldi's series, as being quite a dark series. And it is in a lot of ways. But there were some horrible moments in the one today, when all of her children get killed.
Yeah, my children.
Not pleasant, even if she's the enemy.
No, and it was there were two moments with the Doctor that are quite iconic's probably overused, but certainly memorable facial expressions. There was one earlier on when they're in the TARDIS and Donna says, whose outfit with this or something, and Tennant gives her this really nasty expression. And then also at the end where Tennant throws the bombs and there's water flying all over the place and you see the water going in front of Tennant and he's just kind of looking with this kind of deadly, I am killing you, and I'm also kind of enjoying it stare. It reminds me a little bit of some of my kind of role plays that I do in things, when I'm kind of playing a character that's... the thing, it's like, oh, I'm being laughed at.
Did you just compare your acting to David Tennant? Which is a beautiful comparison. I've often looked at you and thought, 10th Doctor.
Pass me that.
This isn't 10th Doctor.
It is now. But where I was going with it, I'm not saying my acting is like that. What I'm saying is that when I do...
Look at Izzy, look at you. Do
you want to see the most cutest thing in the entire world? Watch this.
Oh, baby girl. Baby girl.
The Tennant... When I'm being characters in computer games that are kind of embracing their dark side a little bit, that's the kind of stuff I do. But when I do it, I'm almost kind of like, embracing the evil a little bit to kind of show that's on the character. And he had that kind of, he was almost enjoying taking the Queen of the Ragnos around.
It wasn't clear to me what that look in his eyes was. Was it enjoyment? Was it like, it was almost like he'd started and then forgotten to stop. And that's why she had to be like, yeah, you can stop now.
Yeah. He just kind of froze. I mean, obviously he's a guy in mourning as well. So he's obviously, he was emotionally.
Yeah, was it one of those kind of like, taking the spite out? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I'm pissed off at the world, so I'm going to take it out on you. But of course, if you remember in Turn Left, which was the way at the end of Series 4, the one where Donna is erased from history, that was the scene that actually kills the Doctor, because she's not there to stop him and he drowns. So he actually...
Well, that idea of somebody being there to stop him is kind of occurs a few times throughout Donna's. Oh, baby girl. Occurs a few times.
Oh, no.
My turn.
Larry's turn. Yes, it does. That she is the moral break on him. Well, yeah, when he goes a bit too dark. But it was and Tiny Dancer says there he was ready to die down there. He was. I mean, maybe it was linked to Rose. Maybe it was. I don't know what it was, but he was certainly in a very strange mood that day. A few other little nice touches I liked from it. I really liked the beginning of the Earth scene with the the Earth, beginning of the Earth. It's actually wrapped around the Ragnar spaceship. Although I think Doctor Who possibly needs to stop in a way, because now they've established that I'm sure I'll forget things here. They've established that the Earth is wrapped around an alien spacecraft. The Moon is both a base of the Cybermen and a giant egg, and a giant egg, I think.
Yeah.
And eventually they're surely going to kind of decide that everything is in fact in some way related to sort of aliens and things. But there's some nice moments there. And let me read out some of your guys' things, and then why don't you tell me your favourite moment? What was your most memorable bit of the episode? And then we'll kind of talk about those. Shida Hari, thank you for your comment, says, Runaway Bride was a very good introduction to Donna Noble, and the writing was brilliant for the episode as a whole. I agree it was a nice introduction to her, but I think I only appreciated it after I knew her better. Telsey says, thank you, Telsey. The first time I saw Runaway Bride, I had no idea who Catherine Tate was. The BBC America hadn't shown her yet, and I really didn't like a companion who was so thick, but of course I changed my mind over time. She's an interesting character because she's not thick, isn't she? But she lacks in knowledge, and they. But
I think one of her things is about lacking in confidence as well.
But then there's other bits where they're so funny. When she's just like, the Doctor's like, Canary Wharf, Cybermen, Daleks over London. I was in Spain. Well, they were in Spain as well. Scuba diving. It's kind of and again, it's like she's not thick. She's just kind of unaware of things.
That's comes to be a big part of the storyline in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She always she ends up unaware for eternity, which is sad. Tabby Tenner says, one of our lovely website moderators. In fact, there's a load of new stuff up on the website at the moment. If you want to head over there, adiposetv.com. There's the Hearthstone January competitors are up there. We've got Tegan's Tales of Classic Who #1, written by the Teganator there. In fact, I'll post the link to that in the channel, which he's done a lovely article talking about the history of Doctor Who. And obviously a lot of us here are Whovians, so go and check it out if you fancy embracing that. And of course, we've got Tabby Tenner's quotes from December the 21st to the 27th. Which is also there as well, and you're welcome to go and read that after the stream, during the stream, whatever you want to do. So thank you very much to Tabby and Angelina for
great work.
Any of those out. And I think Posse News, I know Angelina said she was working on Posse News, so I assume that'll be along at some point.
Just as a slight aside, but not a complete aside.
Yes.
When we watched the episode back today, we commented on how many of those places we'd actually seen.
We did. Well, and when we're doing the those of you coming to the Addy meet, when we do the Doctor Who tour, we'll see a whole bunch from that episode.
It was jam-packed, that episode, wasn't it?
You're going to see the street. Well, assuming the tour is the same, there might be variations. You're going to see the street where they go at the beginning, where they're running up and down looking for a cash machine and a phone. And believe it or not, the cash machine was not a real cash machine. Drama.
You can see the church that they didn't get married in.
Yep, the church they didn't get married in. We visit that. Something else as well. Something else. I won't spoil it all because I can't remember. Don't turn the computer off, please, Izzy. Sorry, I forgot to say what Tabby Tenner said. Tabby Tenner said, I really enjoyed watching it again and picking up on all the things I didn't notice before, things that were foreshadowing or important to her character. And yes, I agree, there were.
There was quite a lot of foreshadowing, which is impressive given that it was a whole series. There was a series in between.
There was also stuff there that linked completely to Series 3, right at the end where they fired the tanks fired.
Yeah.
It was like on the order of Harry Saxon, who was the Master's Prime Minister at the end. I mean, obviously I know that was the same season, but still, they were dropping hints even then that there was a Harry Saxon, around, which is great. Jack Dashy says the episode was great and I am not grumpy. Oh yes, of course. RB677112 says the taxi chase was his favourite bit, and that's another bit you'll see if you come on the Addy tour that we drive over it. And apparently they did actually they got permission to close off one of the biggest, almost like a bypass in Cardiff, and apparently one of the the mayors or councillors in Cardiff, he's a big Doctor Who fan, and because he's a Doctor Who fan, they managed to kind of get away with asking for things that normally TV companies wouldn't get away with, i.e. closing one of the biggest roads in Cardiff to film that little sequence where they had the TARDIS. I'm improving her hair.
I think we need to put that to the vote.
Okay, fine. Let's put it to the vote.
Yeah, I think we should put it to the vote.
Do you want to do your one first or my one first?
Your one.
Okay. My view, this is nothing to do with Doctor Who. So my view on Izzy's hair is that it shouldn't be too neat. It should be a little bit ruffled. We should have it sticking up a little bit. We run our hands through it, maybe a little bit of hair gel. We're just going to get that slightly ruffled but cool look. All the cool kids have that kind of look. Not too refined. Maybe when she's older, put a little bit of gel in it. When it grows out, it can be long and stuff. But that's my version of Izzy's hair. Clary?
All right. I think it should be nice and neat. And that she should be a nice, neat baby who looks well looked after. Something like this. I haven't got her hairbrush on me. There. Yeah.
So there we go. That's the immaculate version of Izzy's hair, where every hair is in place and she looks like...
Very cute. You look so cute.
So there you go.
You do look cute.
So that's Clary's version. And once again, there's mine, which is far better. But now looks very similar. Now I've not moving. There we go. There, do that. And I'll put that to a very important vote. What else did we get? Jen Devine says, my favourite moment, I must say, is when Donna first popped up in the target? In the TARDIS, and Tennant goes, what? It's quite a memorable one.
I like that, but only on the second viewing. The first viewing, like I said, because it came right off the back of this really serious Rose moment, I was like, that's not funny. But then when I was still mourning Rose, but when I watched it back and I haven't kind of got the Rose thing in my head, it is actually really funny.
What? Yeah. It's a good moment. Snake Souza says, my most powerful created image in my mind was the dance scene and the flashbacks of Rose with the blonde hair. Again showing the Doctor's kind of conflicted mind, not exactly on the on the job at hand. I would say the Runaway Bride is one of the better Christmas specials, and I know I harp on about this, and I'm sorry, I do apologise for the Matt Smith fans, but you
apologise for Matt Smith fans?
To Matt Smith fans, yeah. Can I just apologise to the world for Matt Smith fans? But the Tennant Christmas specials, I think in general, are better than what kind of comes afterwards, because you've got the Christmas Invasion, which I really like, the Ziggurats and all that kind of stuff. You've got the Runaway Bride, which is good. But then Tennant must have another one that I've forgotten. A Voyage of the Damned, which I'm less keen on, but I know other people like. But then Matt Smith's ones I don't think are particularly memorable at all, in my view. But then Capaldi's just had a really, really good one. So I think the Christmas specials have kind of dipped and then risen again, which is cool. So what else have we got to talk about? We've talked about the acting. We've talked about the plot line. Are there any other topics you guys think we should discuss, or any other important moments from the scene we think we need to kind of debate? Anything you didn't like? Let's shoot it down.
Okay, as I said, I wasn't so keen on the big animatronic spider. We discussed today about the fact that it was acted amazingly, because we know who that actress is and we didn't spot it before we knew.
If any of you have ever seen Monroe, or if any of you have ever seen Atlantis, the actress, there's an actress in there, one of the lead actresses actually, who played the Empress of the Ragnaros. She's completely unrecognisable. There's some lovely animatronics in there, like the way when she blinks, all of the other eyes blink at the same time. That's fantastic. And the way she moves, I can't even replicate it, but her neck twists and her head slides around all over the place. And, it's dramatically overacted, but it works because she's supposed to be a spider. What do you like about it? What didn't you like
I guess I'm just, I've said before, I'm just not a big fan of it all boiling down to a big, scary monster.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't say that.
You're not always you're not like a monster of the week gal.
I'm not really a monster of the week gal, but it was fine. I felt that it got quite aggressive with the torturing that guy.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Lance. They kind of waterboarded him and forced things down his throat.
Lance, and I wasn't so keen on that. Because, you know, Christmas special, you could be watching that with kids. We were, in fact, watching it with our kids.
Oh.
And that is what she thought of it.
That's what she thought of it. Now she's going to grab my face. I see. It did look a bit weird, the spider, but then again, I think a giant spider is always going to look a little bit odd. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to go with. To go with something really, really cool. Tammy Tanner just said, I think the quality of the Christmas specials has to do with how much they relate to the plotline of last of upcoming seasons. For example, Last Christmas very much felt like a finale to Series 8, but the next Doctor was really just sort of there. I think that's a good point. If it's part of a season as a whole, it tends to go, it probably works better than just a little kind of standalone one.
Okay.
You got it. I don't think there's anything I didn't like. Like, I didn't like Donna the first time around, but now I did.
Yeah.
It was nicely paced. It was fast at the beginning, had a bit of a slow down in the middle, and then kind of sped up again, kind of towards the end. I think the effects, you can see through a few of them. There's a few like, I know how they did that, but there was good stuff in there with all the water falling underneath the Thames, the little floating Christmas balls. The
Thames was then drained afterwards. That was kind of
that was a funny little moment. We've drained the Thames, which is good, and of course led brilliantly into the Partners in Crime episode in Series 4, because obviously Donna says, "No, I won't join you," and then wants to come back, and that of course has adipose in it. Which is very, very cool. What about you guys? Last chance for you guys to make any comments. Anything you would have tweaked or changed, or anything you didn't like, or was it one of the best Christmas episodes in?
I feel like whilst people are thinking about that, we need to call up the vote.
Oh, we need to call up the vote. Yes, good point. Results are as follows: 2 votes for Addie's haircut, 1 vote for Clary's haircut, 17 votes for they are exactly the same.
Well, in that case, I'm going to be taking high-def photos.
That's true, yeah. You can check your Snapchats afterwards to get some very, very close-up photos to prove that they are not the same.
And that I am right.
That I am right.
I am right.